It's time for another wrestling podcast.
All right.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Guys, I got blocked again on Twitter.
I'm your mark of marks.
That's the most reliable source on the interwebs.
The social assassin at your disposal, bitches.
How's it going?
It's going. I'm just, talking about fucking the new Batman.
Robert Pattinson?
Yeah, Edward.
I want to throw a hot cup of coffee in somebody's face right now.
If they could sign him on for multiple movies like Robert Downey Jr., I'd be okay with it. I'm sick and tired of like Batman every fucking 2 years or Spider-Man changing every 2 years. It's like, just sign somebody.
My only thing is that he's kind of like, he's one of those guys that got pigeonholed to that character of Edward. You know how like actors like
Ralph Macchio will always be the Karate Kid.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Luke Skywalker will always be, or what's his name, Hamill will always be fucking Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, no matter what. Like, to me now, Robert Downey Jr. will always be Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like now, this Edward guy, in my eyes, he's always Edward.
A faggot vampire.
I mean, granted, he might pull off the impossible and get that tarnish off of him, but until then, I just see Edward. I don't see Batman. I see a fucking vampire.
I'll tell you what, I remember the day they announced Ben Affleck. I remember I was in the hospital. My first daughter was born. I'm like in the middle of the night reading the news, and I was like, fuck, are you kidding me? Like, because Ben Affleck, but when he actually did it, I didn't mind it. I thought he was a good Batman, but I mean,
I didn't like him as Batman.
I don't think he was the best, but I didn't hate him. I mean,
and I think
here's the thing with that: Ben Affleck, great Bruce Wayne, terrible Batman.
And I think the reason why I didn't like him, I didn't like him as Batman, is because I didn't really get to see him much as Batman because he didn't have a standalone.
Yeah, and not only that, like, all right, here's the thing. We all loved Christian Bale. I don't know anybody who's going to sit there and be like, Christian Bale sucked.
That was the best.
He was good. I wouldn't say he was the best. He was good.
Yeah.
But even when he was outshined by fucking Heath Ledger in the second one, it was like he was still held his own. To me, the best Batman is always going to be fucking what's his face? Adam West.
Really? Not even Michael Keaton? I love Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton. Well, it says, you know what though? Yeah, I'm going to go Michael Keaton, but like, because it's two different Batmans. It's like that old school, like, cheesy, like, more comic Batman. Like, dude, there's no beating Adam West. Like, oh, wait, Robin, we have to wait for the cross the street sign to go on. Like, dumb, stupid shit. Like, the criminals are running away, and you're like, no jaywalking, Robin. Like, what the fuck is that shit?
There you go.
It's funny stuff.
Last week... we shit on it. Everybody's shitting on it, and I give him a chance because I'm a wrestling fan. So, Kudo, I mean,
did we get some heat this week, Credo?
Did we get some heat? No, I think the whole the universe is just giving WWE the heat.
Well, I mean, we were kind of mean, weren't we?
Well, it depends on who listens to the show.
I'm just saying, man. There's a lot of people out there sucking kneecaps and licking boots. What can I tell you?
I think you gotta, it's good though. I mean, this is our product. I mean, it's like we're paying for it, right? We want to like support them. They're taking our money for this stuff, so it's like they should listen to the fans somewhat. But
I wonder how the stocks are doing this week.
Yeah.
I heard they went down about
Now this I think from last week, the whole fucking wild card rule or whatever. I think their problem now is that they're oversaturating. I don't know if that's the right term. It's like too much Roman, too much Sami Zayn, too much. It's like I don't need to see the same guys on every show, and that's what they're doing. And I mean, I know they're trying to build up for Money in the Bank this weekend, but at the same time, I don't need to see Roman at the top of every show. Like they really think he's their gravy dog right now. They really think they're watching it for Roman Reigns, and I don't think they are. I mean, it's sure kids love him. Sure, they'll go see a show if Roman Reigns is on it, but they ain't bringing in the ratings. Has there been? I haven't checked the ratings because I just didn't care. I mean, I tried to dive into it though this week. Did you guys? I mean, did you watch anything or no? I mean, I tried to just watch it and nothing was memorable for me.
I tried watching Raw, and Ugh.
It's like hoping, right? Just hoping. Like
You know
something
what?
happens.
Yeah, it was the thing that didn't they open up Raw with like that Roman Reigns shit with the fucking how he beat cancer again. Again, it's always the cancer. Enough with the cancer. We got it.
I know.
You know, you had a cancer cell or something. I don't know, whatever it was. Couldn't have been that great. You know, or it couldn't have been that bad. I don't know. I hate to be that guy, but at this point, the fact that they keep throwing that in my face, I don't care. I'm going to boo a man just because I can. I don't care if he had cancer. It's okay to boo a man with cancer.
It is.
I'm going to say this now, and I'll probably say it again at the end of the show. These writers, they're not writing for an audience of millions. They're writing for an audience of one.
Yep.
They're writing for Vince. That's what they're doing. They're basically writing for him. Because it's just been so disappointing. I've been disappointed by the WB lately, and Cooter hit it on the head last week when he said that, you know, they do disappoint, but when they get it right, damn, do they do a damn good job, and they do know how to captivate sometimes, but
Yes.
they fuck it up a lot. And lately, it's just been habitually just not really like grabbing me.
No.
Like in a way that like to just grab my attention, like, hey, look over here. This is what you want to see. Like AJ versus Seth Rollins. That should be an amazing match. But what is the story? Like, why should I really like? I know they're gonna have an amazing match, but what is the story? What am I getting invested in with these two? There's nothing personal there. There's nothing. Like, there's no story to build this. Like, I just there's really nothing grabbing me in this card coming up on Sunday. I love Money in the Bank, but they're going to find a way to fuck it up somehow.
Yeah.
They always do.
Theo, let me ask you a question, because
Yeah.
I want to make a point here. Why do you watch wrestling? What is it about wrestling that you like?
In general, it's the escape from reality. Like, I want to watch something and I want to see a good story and I want to forget all the shit going on in the world. I don't care anymore. Just like a cartoon. Like, I want to
So
see.
it's just
right.
basically like regular television, the same reason why you watch anything else.
Yeah.
But in this aspect, okay, we like the storytelling, and I think most of us are captivated with the athleticism, and there's always that holy shit factor, like you know, like any other television show. I didn't watch anything this week. I took a break. I watched some of season finales of other television shows, Arrow, Flash. There's a couple other shows. Like I just got caught up on everything, and I realized why I am so annoyed with wrestling now, because when I watch television, there are shows like I'm invested to week in and week out. I have to watch next week. I think most of us felt that way with Walking Dead. For all you Game of Thrones fans out there, I know you guys every week, you can't wait. Nowadays, I feel like I can miss a whole week of WWE and not care, because there is no long-term planning, and that's where are we going with this stuff?
Is it too much though for you? I mean, because like I said, we've always talked about it in the past, where Monday 3 hours, Tuesday 2 hours, then NXT an hour. Is it just so much that like it's overwhelming in a way to where I have to invest like 8 hours, 10 hours a week just to watch everything to know what's going on in a way, or is it like, can they just make it simpler? I don't know.
I mean, back in the day when we were watching it, and I hate to use the Attitude Era because there was a lot of campy shit back then, but I felt like there was a consistent story. You know what I mean? Like, if you missed a week of Raw, like, you missed some key plot points to what is going on. But, like, you could make up for that. You know what I really miss, too? Is, especially during pay-per-views, they were so good at making these recap videos and, you know, using the music and the music videos.
Yeah.
You know, that, I mean, we talk about that Limp Bizkit video that they did with Stone Cold and The Rock for WrestleMania. That's one of the best ever, if not the best ever. There's a lot of them that stick out. And I feel like, hey, if you missed a week of Raw and you're going into a pay-per-view, they would play something like that to show you
Sunday
how
night.
you could go through the feud and be like, oh, wow, this is great. You don't see that anymore.
I know, it's like they don't
And
care.
if you do-
There's no time.
And if you do, they're so badly produced that they're forgettable.
You know what? I just I want to feel like, I'm not wasting my time every time I tune in on Monday. Like, I want to be excited. That's the key word we're going to get into a little later. Excited. I want to feel excited. Like, I'm not going to go out of my way to watch WrestleMania multiple times, but this weekend I'm going to see Avengers Endgame for the third time. I'm excited to go see Avengers Endgame for a third time, but I'm like, to watch Raw on a Monday, I'm just like...
You're going to watch a movie that's 3 hours where they use multiple characters and they all get enough screen time and they know how to write a story or whatever.
Yeah,
compared to Raw every week.
The third time I'm going to see this movie. But when it comes to watching a WWE product, I literally I just regret going into this. And I didn't really get to. I read more spoilers this week than I did actually watching the product because I just felt like it just wasn't necessary for me to avoid the UK spoilers. I felt like I was better off just reading the spoilers, and if there was something interesting for me to watch, I'll tune in. But if it wasn't anything interesting, maybe I'll catch it on the DVR a couple days later or something. And that's exactly what it did. I got a good night's sleep on Monday. Tuesday, I got home like around 9 o'clock, watched a little SmackDown, and I went to bed. I didn't have to because I knew what was happening.
Well, I mean, not to make this show a repeat of the last show, it's kind of, this is, I think, the consensus of the WWE universe right now, to where they want to be drawn into all this stuff going on. They want to be invested, and it's like Vince loves his Roman. He wants to make him the next whatever, but we're not invested in it. It's a different time. It's a different era. There's so much going on that you have to have almost multiple top guys. You can't just have Roman on every fucking show and throw him down our throats again. Like, that's how you lost everybody in the first place, and that's not going to save you right now. But with
they're starting to boo, Credo. So, quick, talk about the cancer.
Exactly. But
cancer.
Now, Cooter, tell me about this, because we've been a little bit anti AEW a little bit, but does it excite you? Does it excite you though now that we got a TNT deal?
I fucking hate you right now because I never crapped on AEW in terms of the actual product, because when I was making fun of it, there was no product. And that was more my point.
The t-shirt
company. I don't want to talk about something when there's nothing to talk about yet. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's okay. I understand you guys want to be excited for it. Good. I'm excited for it. I want to see what they bring to the table. But if you're talking about how I was talking 3 or 4 months ago when there was nothing to talk about, well, let's analyze their show. What did we like? What did we dislike?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, wait, there was nothing to do. So, I mean, don't put the, you're crapping on AEW. No, I just didn't see a point in talking about it at the time.
I think at that time, we were just excited for anything because the product sucked and it just wasn't compelling, that we got excited just because of the thought that something new was coming. And granted, I got a little too excited because I was just like, great, we have something that could be competition later down the road. And that's what I want. I wanted something, that's going to light a fire under Vince's ass. And I'm hoping that it lights a fire under Vince's ass. You want to know something? I hope Vince underestimates this. I hope he does. And I hope he just thinks it's nothing big. And then next thing you know, it turns into something that he has to panic about. Because, Grant, we all know AEW is not going to be competition on the level that WWE is right now. They're $1 billion company. They're not there yet. Well, they do have the financial backing. They're not going to be a competition at the fact with the ratings. Even though WWE's ratings suck, they're still pulling in, 1 million, 2 million ratings a night. There are differences, but at the same time, they're going to be a competition when it comes to the talent and wheeling in guys.
Even just creative, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and creative. You have guys in the WWE roster right now that as soon as AEW was announced, that's when people started standing up and trying to get their releases and trying to get out of there and expressing how unhappy they were because they saw the grass is greener. You have Tony Khan expressing all this stuff, saying that our guys are going to have health care. Now, if that's a true statement or not, we won't know until the time happens. But just to hear that you're going to get health care, You're gonna have more time off. Like, that's fucking amazing. Like, who doesn't want to do that?
Yeah.
Real quick, I don't mean to cut you off. And real quick, and not to mention, and granted, this argument can go either way, but I mean, they outbidded the WWE for Kenny Omega. Now, granted, Kenny Omega was probably going to go to AEW regardless, but I'm sure they offered Kenny Omega a shit ton of money where it might have made him maybe want to take a step back and think about that. But he still went to AEW. Now, I don't know how much they offered him, but they outbidded the WWE for Kenny Omega, and I'm sure they're going to outbid him for other guys later on down the road.
And I don't know if it's so much as the money, because when you're offering guys creative over their own character, and, well, you know, like you said, if the health insurance takes effect, that right there is going to be milestones away from WWE. Even like that last press conference they did in Vegas where they were using adult language, you know, they were fucking making fun of Conrad Thompson, you know, all that other stuff, to where it's going to be that more adult version to where...
Who made fun of Conrad?
MJF.
Yeah, something about his titties or something. They said something bad. But
MJF is a beast on Twitter too, bro.
So, but even just taking that aspect of it, because you get people that are just bored with the fucking promos, like you can't say ass or you can't say bitch or you know, like there's certain words you can't say because you're a PG show. AEW is gonna take that and, like, obviously they're not gonna just say fuck all the time or whatever, like, you know, but they're gonna be able to talk more towards adults. And it's going to be that alternative that WWE can't just go to the, you know, that the Attitude Era-esque thing. So that right there is just going to draw more people away from it because they're so tired of the hokey stuff. You know what I mean? It's Duke the Dumpster era, right? I keep going back to that.
And you want to know? And you read that article on Vanity Fair with Vince McMahon?
I didn't. I saw it though. Yeah.
I didn't read the whole thing, but I read bits and pieces of it, and there was two things that really stood out to me. One thing, they asked him about, you know, giving talent time off, and you want to know what he said? He said talent can take time off whenever they want. They just have to ask for it. Like, I don't believe that for a second.
You know what's crazy too? With all this going on,
hold for a second.
I've been only holding on for like 20 minutes. All right, cool. All right, that's great.
And then the second thing that stood out to me the most was the fact that Vince is looking to get, like, we're frustrated right now. He's looking to go more in the PG area. Like, he's going more PG with the product. He's not going anywhere else. It's going to get worse, apparently, from what the Vanity Fair article said. All right, go ahead. Gooder.
Oh, did you actually want me to talk now?
I just wanted to get that out.
Oh, yeah, get it out. You know, it's crazy. I'm glad there's an alternative because, I mean, historically for me, this has always been my favorite time of the year for wrestling. I mean, most people always talk about the Rumble and the build-up and then WrestleMania. For the last few years, I've always enjoyed post-WrestleMania. It's always been the night after, the SmackDown after, and then you get the shake-up. And the European tour, like, I don't know too many people who didn't like watching that crazy-ass fucking crowd from London because it was always fun, and they always put on good shows. I feel like nobody's talking about it. Like, I didn't miss anything. No surprises. Did Pete Dunne or anybody even fucking show up? That's what I'm saying.
There was a dark match. That was about it.
You have a whole entire UK brand over there, and you're in the UK, and you don't even utilize that talent even for a run-in or something like this. But you know what? That's asking too much because you can't even get the guys that you have on the main roster over. So what the fuck? You got to bring more and fuck them up too. It's just it's mind-boggling.
Well, you bring that up right there too, Cooter. We had this whole fucking draft. But we're fucking watching Roman Reigns 20 minutes into the damn show. Shane McMahon still getting fucking TV spots. The Miz or whatever. And it's like the same four fucking guys for a half hour, 45 minutes into the first, the beginnings of the show. And it's like, you fucking divide the roster. We don't need them on both shows. And now all those guys that were drafted, where the fuck's EC3? Where the fuck's all these other guys? They're into the fucking back of the pile. And it's like, separate everybody, give them separate shows, give them separate stories, give them separate creative. And I'm telling you, man, going back to AEW, when they launch, they're not going to be that mega fucking company like WWE is, and they don't have to be. I'll tell you, if they get that TNT money where they just give them a nice fucking set, give them nice fucking cameras, let them do the rest, I'm telling you, the first night, I hope it's a Monday. I hope they put it on Mondays. I'm going to be curious. If they beat WWE the first fucking night, that's going to be amazing because that'll just show you how much the fans are just sick and tired of what they're doing. And do you guys think, like, now that this is all out, they're going on TNT, they're going to have competition, does it fucking shine a light like, hey guys, we should really start doing something the next few months to keep people glued? Do you think WWE will step it up now, or do you think they think they're just too cocky and have it in the bag to where they're just gonna keep doing the same shit like we're seeing right now, and they don't need to change because they think they have that fan base? Or do you think it'll be a real shock to them, the debut of AEW, and they just lose like their audience to them?
I don't think that's something that happens overnight. I think what ends up happening, and this will, they'll get a huge first rating on their show, on their first maybe 3 shows. That'll set the tone for them. If they fucking produce and it's a good show and it keeps the viewers there, I mean, you're off to the races. I guarantee you the ratings will slightly drop off again for a little while and maybe build back up. But I think for that first show, 2, maybe 3 shows, they're going to draw a big rating. And I don't think that you can really fairly judge it based off of that, because it's just people going to be, not because they want to watch it, because they're invested in it, more because they're curious about how it's going to be. So it's not something that we're going to be able to figure out overnight or within a couple of weeks. I think the best way to judge it, look at their ratings, how they're doing after 6 months. 6 months, I think, is a fair assessment on where that product is, what they're capable of. Do they have the right people in place? I mean, granted, you got the money, you got the TV deal, you got the talent. The question is, and I don't want to be sounding like somebody who knows it all, but you're talking about giving all these guys creative control over their characters and stuff. I hope that's not in terms of storylines. I hope it's just their characters and who they are. You know, I mean, I hope we don't need another Hulk Hogan, not using my creative contract or my creative clause or whatever the fuck it was. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got a dumb question for you, Credo. You might know this.
Yeah.
Screen Actors Guild, that covers like television actors, right?
Yeah.
Why does that not cover wrestlers? Why don't they join the Screen Actors Guild? I mean, technically, they're on a television show and they're actors, right? I mean, why are they not covered under that?
I think it falls into that category of that they're like, I talked to Matt Hardy about it once, and like they're contractors, like whatever's in their thing, it's not in their contract that they're like an actor. It's like a wrestler, superstar contract, whatever I forget the wording of it, but something to that effect, to where, yeah, they are, but at the same time, they don't treat them like that. They're treated as
independent contractors, but
Yeah.
technically so are actors.
Yeah, but I mean, I think they draw that line to saying that they're not acting. I don't know. I think there's a fine line.
Who's drawing that line? WWE or the guild itself?
Probably WWE, I would think, just because they don't want their talent to be called actors. I remember when it was brought up that they're not going to call the women divas, like everyone is going to be WWE superstars. So when you bring them in for interviews, whether it's a guy or a girl, they're a WWE superstar. You know what I mean? That's it. That's their title, kind of a thing.
Well, that's smart then. I always wondered that, because could you imagine if they were all under the Screen Actors Guild somehow, and then fucking there's a strike.
I have actually a funny thing. I have to find it. I don't have it on me. Before you go and do like red carpets or interviews, and if you're not like a wrestling fan, to where, you know, if somebody from whatever news outlet is just getting an interview and they don't watch TV, so they don't know, there's like a whole sheet to where don't refer to them as wrestlers, refer to them as superstars. There's this whole list of things like you don't say that they want you to say, and I have to find it. I'll try to share it where it's public information, but it's like they hand it out to everybody to where when they do interviews, they don't say like, hey, you're a wrestler. They don't want wrestler used or whatever. It's only like you're a WWE superstar. It's funny though. It's just it's where like if you didn't watch it and you try to interview these people, you have to like follow this list. I don't know. But I mean, I'm excited all in all. I think I could have been less excited if it wasn't on TNT. Like, oh, they got it. Like fucking Ring of Honor, the Sinclair company. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, I don't get that. It's like TNT is like that Impact that TNA had. Not Impact. What were they on? Spike TV or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good channel. It's got money. And just their tweet going out saying that they're back in the wrestling business, I loved, because it's just like a fuck you, Vince. I feel bad for Ring of Honor now. You talk about it. It's like, how could they not score this deal? Or I wish I was in the same room where they kind of like pitched AEW to TNT, to where I would love to see Cody's speech or the video that they showed with the talent and all this other stuff, to like, because they got to pitch this to people to sell it. So I wish I could see the sales video of what they sent them, to where, I don't know, is this what Bully Ray say, Mike, on it? It was like the Revenge of the Polka Dots?
He called it the Revenge of the Polka Dots. Bully Ray called it Revenge of the Polka Dots, meaning basically this is Dusty Rhodes' revenge for being put in polka dots. The Rhodes family, because, you know, Dusty we all know how great Dusty was before he went to the WWF, and then when he got to WWF, Vince threw his ass in polka dots, and Dusty got himself over with the polka dots, but still didn't treat him as the talent that he was. And I guess it rubbed the Runnels family the wrong way, apparently. And maybe it rubbed Dusty the wrong way. Who knows? We'll never know the answer to that question, but he still played his part.
Well, you take that for real too, Mike, to where, you take such a great wrestler at that time, Dusty Rhodes, and you fucking give him this polka dot shit. But then look at, like, granted, Goldust got over as him, but even Cody Rhodes, to where Cody Rhodes was fine just as Cody Rhodes, then they made him fucking Stardust. Like, I feel like they gave all the Rhodes people stupid fucking gimmicks, which they still got over. But at the same time, it's like you have such a name, such a legacy of that name of wrestlers, and you give them shitty fucking gimmicks, and it's like,
it's
I'm
funny
excited.
You bring that up, that connection. Like, I never really thought about that connection until just now. How Dusty was put in polka dots, Dustin was made to be Goldust, and then you had Cody, who was made to be Stardust, and all three of them did what they had to do to get those characters over.
Yep.
And I didn't think about that till just now.
You know what's funny though? Cody got himself over a couple of times. I remember the thing with the mask that he had before.
Mustache.
Oh, then there was the mustache. Yeah, that was another one. Like all the stuff they gave him, he really did get over. I
even loved it when Orton had him as a stable. It was like the third generation sons, or whatever.
Yeah. Legacy,
that was awesome, because you had DiBiase, the Rhodes, and Orton, and it sold itself right there. Why make it so fucking stupid? But I don't know, guys. I think competition right now is gonna, I hope, light a fire under WWE, and I hope Vince realizes that he needs to leave and he needs to hand over the keys to Triple H, because I'll tell you what, if Vince says, like, all right, fuck it, Triple H, you do it. Triple H feuding with AEW, I can't imagine what Triple H would do just to, like, change things around and just do it his way, and that right there makes me excited to be a wrestling fan right now.
And you know what, too? And I've been hearing all these reports how Triple H is the most frustrated person backstage because of how everything is being booked, how his NXT talent is being booked, and he's just so pissed off and frustrated, and there's nothing he can do about it. And I don't think Vince is really taking the AEW products seriously, and I think Triple H is taking it seriously. Like, I mean, Triple H threw a couple jabs at them at the Hall of Fame induction, and I think Triple H is the one that wants to start a war. And I don't think Triple H, a part of me wants to say that Triple H wants to start a war simply because it's best for professional wrestling, and it gets people buzzing again. And then maybe it's his own ego too. I don't know. But I think a war would, for me as a fan, I would love every second if they had a war. Yeah. If a war started between AEW and WWE, I would love it. If a war didn't start, I would still enjoy wrestling. I would sit back and enjoy it. But man, there'd be so much more interest if we finally had a war going.
I'm trying to think ahead too to like what WWE would do, because they can't just do things in a way to where, since they're a big publicly traded company, they can't just fucking throw titties on the screen. You know what I mean? Like they can't just start cursing.
Why?
They did at the Hall of Fame, though.
That is true. That is true. I'm thinking like, you know, with their whole, you know, investors and all this stuff, to where I think AEW is going to turn it up to like that notch of attitude level.
I hate that.
Hate what?
I hate it. You're worried about your investors, so you're not going to do what it takes to sell your product. That's fucking dumb. But I think that's more because of the shitty world we're in. These companies are so worried about keyboard warriors and I'm going to get all these people to boycott your product. No, you're not. You're going to sit in your mom's basement and licking the Cheeto dust off your fucking fingertips. You loser motherfuckers. Oh, we're going to get people to protest. No, you're not.
I think the WWE is more paranoid at the fact that, you know, they'll lose their sponsors more than anything.
But that's what I'm talking about. It's the same thing. Oh, we're going to get these people to, like, dude, just because you lose some sponsors doesn't mean that Blue Chew's not going to come around and sponsor you. Like, there's always going to be a sponsor for whatever. So you lose those sponsors. You get better ones. You get ones for a new demo that you're trying to conquer. I mean, you remember them trying to beer sponsors during the Attitude Era. They were dying to get Budweiser.
It's not the Attitude Era anymore.
Just saying, though, if you change your product and if you're changing the demo you're going after, yeah, you might take a hit and lose some sponsors. But you already got the fucking TV deal. Who gives a fuck? You could always get new sponsors.
I don't think it's that easy, though. That's the thing. And I think the money that they're getting right now, it's too hard to even – it would be a shot to the ego if they lost those sponsors. I don't know the logistics.
Obviously not enough if you're reporting a loss. So maybe they do need to fucking get different sponsors.
Honestly, I don't know logistics. I don't know how much these sponsors are getting, but when they tried to name the Battle Royal the Mae Young or the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal, and Snickers had a heart attack over it, they immediately shut that down quickly.
Yeah.
You really think Snickers had a heart attack over it?
Or Snickers was the reason.
They were more worried about the keyboard warriors, who in all actuality at the end would have done nothing anyway.
If they were more worried about the keyboard warriors, a lot of things would have changed.
I think people place too much stock over what the internet says. The internet is not real life.
I don't think
it really isn't.
But I really don't think the keyboard warriors changed that. I think it had to do with sponsors, which it actually did have to do with the sponsors. The sponsors complained about that.
Because of the keyboard warriors. They don't just – do you think Snickers really knows who the fuck Mae Young was and who the fuck the Fabulous Moolah was? No.
Fair enough.
Just a lot of bad press. You know, you get all that people talk about bad about it. They're not going to want to stick
because of the big mouth keyboard warriors. Oh, she was a pimp. Fuck that. Who cares? I'm still a pimp. No one's fucking writing bad shit about me.
Now, guys, give me 2 minutes. I want to read you. Chris Jericho recently spoke with TV Insider. I just want to read some of the stuff he said, and I want to get your thoughts about it. They asked him on whether AEW is competing with WWE. He said, "This is a war. Even if you don't want it to be, it just is. There hasn't been any competition for WWE on a national basis for 20 years or more. I think this is something they didn't really want, but it's great for fans and it's great for the guys. I think in the long run it's going to make a difference because it gives people a choice, and it's always good to have a choice." And then they also asked him on AEW show giving talent more freedom. He says, "I don't think you are going to see an overscripted type of show. We have no intention of being WWE light. WWE is the best in the world at what they do. We won't be doing that. We have a different mindset. I think when we look at what is going on during a New Japan show, that might be what the in-ring product looks like. When you think about the way it's shot, and guys have a lot more input in what they're doing from a creative standpoint and character standpoint." And lastly, on his own creative freedom in AEW, he says, "If I produce something and think it's good, I don't have to get it approved by 10 different people before I post it. I'll have 500,000 people see something, and they say that they wish they can see more of that in the WWE. The reason for that is because it comes from me, not 5 other people. When AEW starts, I'm sure everyone on the show will be getting a little bit of direction but you have a lot of creative freedom to make your own moves and name for yourself. I think this is a real positive for us. You know your character best. I think that gives everybody involved a lot more confidence and freedom to be that character. I think it's going to be like the way things used to be in the WWE. Not that it's better or worse, but when I came to the WWE, the opening promo I did where I interrupted The Rock, I wrote it myself. There was no rehearsal, no going through it first. If you liked it, it was all me. If you didn't like it, it was all me. That gives you confidence to succeed. So right there, I think, for like Kenny Omega, for example, like could you imagine Kenny Omega going to WWE and just like fucking making him dance or do some stupid shit? Like I want to see Kenny Omega bring Kenny Omega. I want to see what he wants to see. That I want to have him have that creative to develop his character in AEW to where, you've seen what happens to guys, especially, coming over to WWE, guys like Kenta, changing him to fucking Hideo Itami, Prince Devitt, they change him to Finn Balor, then they make these guys change their names, do something else, and then they lose that momentum, I think. It's like everybody knows, for example, I hate to keep saying Prince Devitt, but Finn Balor, right? So everybody knew him. He comes in, everybody loved him because of his fucking body paint. I'm sorry, he's a great and talented wrestler, but everybody wanted to see this dude change up the fucking body paint every week. He comes in, and we don't use the body paint. We're just going to have him wrestle as Finn Balor. And it's okay, but we loved him when he was in the body paint. So, okay, we'll see what happens. What do they do? We wait for the demon, they give it to us, but now it's just once in a while. And now it's like I feel like he lost all the momentum of people just wanting to see what he would do each week, wanting to see what would really happen. Well, who's he going to be this week? What is he going to do this week? And I feel like that took away from who he was. And with AEW, giving guys that freedom to be who they were, that made them big in the first place, to continue that. And I think that's what, I don't know, a lot of people in WWE, they're going to be like, my contract's up. I'm done. I live the WWE. I want to go continue making who I was even bigger. Almost like Jon Moxley. Dean Ambrose is gone. Who knows what's going to really happen with him, but he made a name for himself as Jon Moxley, and if he's done with WWE, who knows where he'll go. But, just being able to go back to what made him big in the first place is, I think, really nice, and that's going to be the biggest difference, I think, with AEW.
Speaking of making me big, you know what made me big this week? Fucking Lacey Evans. That bitch made me big and thick this week. Let me tell you something. Is it sad that even like as much as I like Charlotte Flair's character and her cutting the promo, she was fucking atrocious this week during that contract signing. But Lacey, short, simple, sticks to her character, gets in, gets out. Perfect. God, I mean, honestly, I think for the position that poor woman was thrown in right at the start of her main roster, good for her. Seizing the moment, I think. Good for her. Get in that ass.
As much as I want to get into that one, I do have a question I want to ask you guys.
Uh-huh.
Now, and Credo, you kind of brought something up to, I believe it was earlier today or yesterday about the AEW talent, excuse me. I was going to say AWP talent. And that our roster is a 3-man roster. We're not that big. But AEW, their roster. Okay. You wanted to see bigger names being signed. I personally think they need to just sign 2 more big names and then just try to get those younger talents over somehow. Do you guys feel that, with the creative vision that they have, they're going to get that talent over? Or are the fans going to care simply like they care about 205 Live?
That's a loaded question because I don't think it's fair to judge 205 Live because I don't know anybody who didn't love the Cruiserweight Classic. And wait, let me finish.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right. And what we got post Cruiserweight Classic for 205 Live, 2 completely different things. I hope that doesn't happen to AEW where, maybe they sign a CM Punk on a short-term contract just to try to get some buzz or whatever. Because what I want to see on this pay-per-view, which apparently people were breaking my balls because I said, oh, wow, they're giving it for free. So like, yeah, they're losing. They're gonna lose so much money because they're giving it away for free. All that pay-per-view money. I'm sitting there. WWE gives every fucking person in this world a free subscription.
By the way, they're not giving it away for free. The pre-show is being given away for free.
Okay. Damn.
No, I just wanted to rephrase, but let me rephrase the question. I didn't mean like that. I mean, do you notice how like a lot of people don't tune in to 205 Live because they don't know the characters or the UK, the NXT UK brand? Like a lot of people won't tune into it because they don't know the roster. And that, do you think that that's gonna possibly happen with AEW if they don't sign big names, or you think they're gonna have the creative like? Do you think they're going to get that over to a point where like they're going to get those stars over?
Well, that's what I was joking about. To where I was like, well, they are all elite wrestlers. When are they going to start hiring some elite wrestlers? Because I mean, Jungle Boy. I mean, where's the elite out of some of these guys? And no, all joking aside, but it's where like bigger names like Omega, Ambrose, CM Punk. Like. The elite, the best of the best. And I know they have to fill the roster, if you will, with other names. And granted, these are some names that they've seen on the road and that they like and, that they know truly that they could get over bigger than if they just went to, like, WWE or whatnot. So, at the end of the day, I think, it's going to be circling around Omega, the Bucks, Cody, and then filtered through those other guys. And I think what Cody and all the 20... what do you call it, VPs or whatever have to do is put these guys over. They need to make these names like WWE doesn't do. They don't make enough names. They don't make enough top guys. And I think what AEW needs to do is take the guys that they hired, that they believe in, that they believe are all elite, and show them why they're all elite. And they need to do a lot of jobs. The Bucks need to put people over. Cody needs to put people, you know what I mean? Like, they need to take their names and build this roster up, because when you start seeing guys beating Kenny Omega or guys just beating Cody Rhodes or whatnot, now all of a sudden they're elevated to the same level or on another level as another top star, you know what I mean? To where they're not just no names anymore, like, oh shit, this guy beat Cody Rhodes or whatever, or oh shit, these guys beat the Young Bucks. I gotta tune in to see who they really are. So if they do that, and unlike WWE does, and actually build people, I think they could really make this roster all elite and showcasing why they were hired. So hopefully, I'm hoping.
To answer your question, Mike,
Yeah,
I don't think that'll happen to AEW, because I think of where they are. I think being on TNT, you're going to have a lot of eyes on the product, whereas something like NXT and 205 Live, unless you have Hulu, and most people don't even realize you get NXT and 205 Live on Hulu. Those are network exclusives, so there's more eyes on. It's like when Impact had a Spike TV deal. Now, for a while there, they were still on Spike, but they didn't have the greatest product. But people were still watching. They were still somehow drawing a rating. Not high enough to stay on there, but it's. I think because of where they are, I don't see them not watching the way they don't watch 205 Live. I think if 205 Live, especially even NXT, I think if they were on a television station that actually had some exposure, I think that those shows would do pretty damn good.
So now one thing that really stood out to me, and I meant to bring this up earlier, and it slipped my mind, was the fact that they said that, and this is where the WWE fails. They said in AEW, wins and losses will matter. Meaning, if you keep winning, you're going to get a title shot. If you lose, you kind of fall back down the pole. I love that. It's kind of like, in the UFC where you have a ranking system. Where, like, you win, like, 7 fights in a row, you're going to get a title shot. Well, if you win a couple matches in a row, you're going to get recognized. If you win 7 matches in a row, I'm sure you're going to get a title shot. Like, so that's one thing I really liked what they're going at there, is they're going to make sure that these wins and losses matter. It's not like, Ricochet loses clean one week and all of a sudden he's just thrown in the Money in the Bank. They're going to make sure it matters.
Yeah, that's what's missing. That's what's missing, you know. I feel like the creative. I watched this little video WWE put out of showing their creative team, and they're like, "Oh, we're not fans, we're writers. I've worked in soap operas." I'm like, you should be a fucking fan, because then I think your writing would be a lot more better than what the fuck it is. Congratulations, you wrote for a TV show, you wrote for a soap opera, or you wrote for whatever, but you have no idea the fucking history which the fans follow, and you're not like, you know what I mean? Like, you need the fucking fans. You need somebody who's a fan that watches it all the time or knows that history. And to go back to what you were saying for 205 Live, I'm not watching because I don't want to. I'm one of those people to where I have so much shit going on. You know what I mean? Like, from kids to fucking other side work and doing all this other shit, to where I make sure that every week Raw, I want to watch Raw. That's my go-to. That's my constant, right? But then you have SmackDown, and then NXT, and then 205 Live, and then there's just, I can't keep up. So it's like, unless I'm really bored and I actually have a lot of time, I'll go back and see what I started missing. But it falls into one of those categories of like, 205 Live doesn't need a show. I don't think they need a show. Put the fucking cruiserweights on Raw and SmackDown. Give them at least like 1 or 2 matches a show, like Nitro used to do years ago. Like, they had a cruiserweight division and they used it well. They came out, you know, it was cruiserweight matches. They didn't need fucking stories. They were just a fast-paced fucking match, and they were good to watch and enjoyable. Yep. That's all they need to do. They don't need this whole fucking other show, and I think that's where they're losing people, is because people are just like, it's another WWE show to watch. Put him on the main show. Fucking cut Roman's time down to fucking 5 minutes, not 45 minutes, and you can actually balance out the show with the talent you have.
Let me ask you guys this question. So from the guys that you know that are on the AEW roster currently right now, who do you think is going to be their first heavyweight champion or their first champion? Mm-hmm. They're all elite champion. If you had to pick one guy right now.
For me, I would just go with that Kenny Omega. I mean, he's your fucking rock star right now, to where keep that momentum up. Because like I was saying before a while ago, I was like, I felt bad that Kenny Omega didn't sign with WWE, because I feel like he had all that momentum from New Japan and whatever else, to where now he's not on TV for how long. And it's like, okay, you're doing house shows or independent shows or whatever you're doing, but you kind of lose that luster. And I think Kenny Omega is a fucking fantastic wrestler. Make him a fucking champion. I think I would put it on Kenny Omega right from the start, just to get that ball rolling.
I wouldn't do that. I'm going Jericho. I'm going Chris Jericho. Ugh. I see them building a feud with him and Cody. No, hear me out, man. Because when I look at Kenny Omega, you know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam never really needed a title. He was just the whole fucking show, you know, literally. You want to use that belt to give somebody a rub who needs it. And I think getting a rub off of Chris Jericho when he drops to somebody else, I think him making another star is what they need to do. The one thing I hope they don't do, and I think this is what kills WWE, is you hear a lot about this last minute changes. And I think that's what's really hurting their product right now, that you keep changing everything last minute. These writers can't write for long term. They can't even write for a week ahead because your shit's constantly getting changed. The fans, I think they feel like, if I'm gonna watch this, I wanna know that I'm going somewhere, that there's going to be an end, a resolution to something before you start throwing. Oh my God, you guys complained about one little fucking thing. Well, let me give you 3 more things every week that you're gonna hate even more. It's like, I feel like the more we bitch, the more they feel like they have to change the product, and I hope that they don't fall into that trap. I hope they find a model, and I hope they go with it for a while to see what happens.
Yeah, I like the Jericho idea. I completely agree. But I'm just going to throw a curveball at all you guys, and I'm not going to go with anybody that has anything to do with the Elite. And I'm not going to go Jericho. I'm going to say, if I had to pick one guy to put that belt on, I'd put it on Pac. I'd put it on Pac.
He was so good as a fucking Cruiserweight champion, too. I can't believe they fucking messed that up.
And you want to know, son? They really fucked up, because I'm watching his promos right now as, like, you know, the creepy little bastard that he is, or not creepy little bastard. I forgot his something bastard, the little bastard. Either way, if you haven't seen his promos, like just listen to it. It's so sinister and like evil, and he just comes off as this fucking psychotic heel. And I think that would be the guy I would put the belt on and just make him just unstoppable, just beating all the guys. And then I would build up Kenny Omega to a point where he'd be the guy to maybe take him out. Or, I'd keep Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho. I'd keep those guys away from winning the title right now. I'd keep Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho in a blood feud for right now. Put them in a blood feud. Do a blood feud that the WB could not do.
Yeah.
Give me something there, and I'd be more invested in that. Put the belt on Pac. See where you can go.
I like it. Either way, I like it. But, everybody, though, I think, all in all, from what I was reading online, everybody's excited for this. Everybody's can't wait till October to see it. And, I'm excited. I'm excited that they actually have money, because I remember when Ring of Honor was talking, like, oh, they got a TV deal. And I was like, what channel is that even on? Like, I could, it was only, like, some of the states, and I was like, that's not a real TV deal. Like, this is a fucking national, this is a TV deal, you know what I mean? Like, so, I'm excited for it, and I don't think we're going to see that pocket open as big as it did when WCW had fucking Turner's pocket, but still, I think they know that they could, be good competition for WWE, and to get all those viewers over there, it's gonna be a fun time for all of us wrestling fans, no matter what happens. So, and it's gonna be fun to see how WWE counters what they're doing, and who wants to leave, who's gonna stay. That's gonna be a whole other fucking thing to watch. Who's jumped ship.
Holy fuck! We've been talking all this time, and there's a fucking pay-per-view this week.
Money in the Bank, Hooter. Are you excited? Because I'm going to be watching Game of Thrones. It's the series finale, and people are going to be watching it even if they never watch it. There's a lot of people that just want to watch the last of the series finale. Like, a lot of people just watch the Sopranos ending and then even watch any other Sopranos just to see what would happen.
You're worried about Game of Thrones?
I'm saying,
fucking
man.
Taking away viewers from wrestling.
They are. I feel like they're gonna take it.
Yeah, I think their booking did that already for them. Thank you.
Booking. That is true. That is.
By the way, I just want to fucking say that, like, people convinced me to watch Game of Thrones, and I finally started. Like, I'm on season 2, and I got invested into it. I'm starting to get into it. I picked the wrong fucking time to watch this damn show. I picked the wrong time. I should have waited, like, maybe a month after the final episode.
Well,
because no matter what I do, I'll go on Facebook, and I'll see shit that, like, I don't want to see until I get to season 8.
Well,
like, great. I'm on season 2.
I can't do it, man. I don't Dungeons and Dragons.
Well,
that's the same reason I didn't watch Lord of the Rings, and I don't like that old bullshit. And it's never been my style. Fuck that.
You want to know something? When I watch Game of Thrones, sometimes
there's titties. Oh yeah, great. Oh, okay.
It reminds me of Cinemax back in the day.
That's hot.
I'll tell you, I started it 8 years ago, and I watched the first season, and it wasn't like the first season's like. Oh, it reminds me of like Shakespeare meets just like, King Arthur. But then it's like as you get to season 2 and then 3, it starts opening up worlds to where then there's witches and then there's dragons and then there's fucking zombies and fucking it keeps getting bigger and bigger as it goes. So like if you give it a chance and just keep going, I watched all the season. Like I said, I started it 8 years ago and I stopped it. So then I started it back up again to start from the second season in January. And every fucking week I've been watching every show, and I love the binge. It was like a 5-month binge.
I got to ask you a question, because it's because of you that I became such a huge Walking Dead mark.
Me?
Yeah, oh yeah. See, a lot of people, you probably don't even know this. You won't remember this. First time I bought a Blu-ray player, all right? I said, Credo, I texted him. I said, I just bought a Blu-ray player, and I bought a copy of John Adams from HBO when that came out.
Yeah, that was good too, yeah.
Right, that was a good little series. I'm like, give me something else that I should buy on Blu-ray that I should watch. And you told me first season of Walking Dead. Never heard of it.
Yeah.
I had never heard of it.
Wow.
And I watched that fucking first season in a day and got hooked, looked it up online, got really hooked into the comics, So I became this big Walking Dead mark because of him, right?
Look at that.
Now, let me ask you this, because I know you love that first season of Walking Dead. What show had a better season? First season, Walking Dead or Game of Thrones, in your humble opinion?
Walking Dead. Like I said, Game of Thrones starts off slow, and that's where it loses people because you don't see what happens. Like, if you just binge watch it to where, like, you don't have to wait every month to, like, if it was on TV, and you just watch them all, you're going to enjoy it. Because, like I said, the first season, it's slow. But as you keep getting on, like, more things keep getting added into that realm, and it gets a lot better. And especially this last season, it's really good. I don't know. I liked it. I enjoyed it. But
we're coming full circle here, and the reason why I say this is because, Credo, you got Cooter into Walking Dead, and Cooter was the one that introduced me to The Walking Dead.
You guys would have never even noticed it until I brought it into your life.
And it's funny, and because I just find it funny, but like season 1, I watched season 1, and I think Game of Thrones fans are just as crazy as wrestling fans sometimes, to a point where it's like, I literally, like, my friends that are Game of Thrones fans are like, you're going to like this show better than The Walking Dead. I guarantee it. If you don't like this show better than The Walking Dead, you're stupid. Like, just saying all this shit. I'm like, what the fuck? And I told them my honest opinion. I was like, I got through season 1. It's good, but it's not better than The Walking Dead so far.
No, definitely.
And like, so far. And I made sure I added so far because I haven't gotten that far yet. And man, did I offend people!
not till you get to at least season 4, 5, and 6. That's like when it starts to picking up.
Oh, you're a long ways away.
To where it starts picking up to be better than Walking Dead. But I don't know.
You know what I hate about binging fucking HBO shows?
What's that?
Is that they are literally an hour long.
Yeah.
There's like it's not like binge watching Walking Dead where they're like 45 minutes because of the commercials and shit.
Well, that's why I love
shit full hours, and I'm just like,
Have you guys watched Cobra Kai yet?
I love it.
Okay, I was gonna say it doesn't have a huge budget, but I love the fact that it's like I grew up with this movie, and then just to see these characters years later, and if they had a bigger budget, it'd probably be a lot better. But I like it. I enjoyed it. Even I just finished season 2, and it's awesome. Just to bring back these characters and then like the 80s nostalgia, and it's they're half-hour episodes or 20-minute or 20 whatever. So
great.
That's what I like.
Can I say
Short
something?
episodes.
Can I say something?
Okay.
You know, Cooter brought up the fact that there's a pay-per-view this Sunday, and we spent the past 20 minutes talking about other things
Game of
other
Thrones, Walking
than the
Dead.
pay-per-view. That's how compelling and exciting the WB product has been.
This was a wrestling. We got to change the name. This was a wrestling podcast. You want to hear a funny story? I got to tell you this one. I was such a fan of that first Karate Kid movie. It was going over my buddies, and we must have watched this movie 3 fucking times in a row. His dad walks in, is so pissed off at us. He goes, "Fuck this fucking movie! Turn that shit off." He goes, "I'm putting the TV on, and whatever, I'm gonna hit a random channel, and whatever's on, that's what we're watching." I think he puts on one of the fucking movie channels. Sure as shit, it's the first one that he puts on. Fucking Karate Kid is on the goddamn TV. We start laughing our asses off and had to watch it a 4th time.
The Money in the Bank guys this week is that we're fucking not even. We don't give a shit who wins it to cash anything in, and that's what's happening. Their creative is so weak that we're fucking talking about this.
Here's the prediction. Here it is. Ready, guys? I'm gonna run it down. Speed round. Ready? Someone's gonna win a title. Someone's gonna cash in. Someone's gonna win a briefcase. Someone's gonna lose. Someone's gonna win. Someone's gonna win by DQ. There's going to be a non-title match on a pre-show. Basically, everything's just going to go down the shitter and forgotten about on Monday.
Oh, man. Well, that just goes to show you how creative they are when we fucking... It's not another...
And Roman must pose.
Fucking... I'm telling you, they're going to switch something up because they think someone's getting cashed in on. Becky's losing. She's going to lose one of those fucking belts. Something's happening. I think they definitely need to get people to talk about them, if anything, because nobody's talking about them. As you can see, we talk more about Game of Thrones and The Walking Dead than we have about the actual pay-per-view this weekend. So, with that said, I think you know how we feel about what's happening.
ready for some All Elite Wrestling.
I don't give a fuck. I'm probably gonna go buy another goddamn puzzle. I can't believe that. I literally, instead of watching Raw, SmackDown, I showed you guys the picture, right?
Yeah.
For the fans who were like, "What did you do, Cooter, besides watch like shows that you were actually vested in?" I bought a 1,000-piece puzzle and I finished it today. 3 nights it took me. 3 nights. But I got a cool little fucking puzzle poster to hang on my wall. I was so frustrated, but at least I said this. If I watched all those hours of wrestling, I would have been just as frustrated. At least I got a poster out of it.
Boom.
What was the puzzle?
It was like one of those Where's Waldo type things, but it was all movies and shit.
It was cool.
So-
I saw the picture of how that puts together.
Yeah,
and,
it's in the group chat.
it looked fucking hard too, because there's a lot of fucking
You
shit.
see it, Mike?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, I mean, we got like Die Hard, Back to the Future, Jason's. It's pretty cool.
This is what you've done to Angry Cooter WWE. He's gone from angry to fucking puzzle time. Something's got to change. He's not an Angry Cooter anymore. He's Puzzle Cooter. He's puzzled. Fucking
So-
this is what's happening.
Look, we leave off on this note. You know, and in 1 week, are we going to be sitting here saying, "Man, the WWE, they actually put out a great pay-per-view, and damn, did they have a good week of programming?" Or are we going to be, well, you know, Game of Thrones was a great show on Sunday. Let me tell you, is that going to be the conversation next week?
That is exactly what our
Tune in.
podcast is going to turn into. To where
Tune in next week.
it's going to be called Another Wrestling Podcast. Meanwhile, we don't even talk about anything about wrestling. That's the whole twist of it. They think it's a wrestling podcast, but we're
Ooh,
just,
television puzzle. Ooh. They have an
Oh, no.
ice cream bars one. Ooh, that
Dude,
looks
see what you've
fun.
done, WWE.
Oh,
He's not
look,
angry
there's
anymore.
all different cereal boxes. That's awesome.
He's enticed by puzzles. Oh man, he's gonna need a new gimmick.
Hopefully that fire is lit in Titan Towers.
Look. Oh, the television one. There's Fat Albert. Hey, hey, hey.
God help us.
I could see Vince hearing the news about AEW signing with TNT, and all he could think about, like, and Ted Turner has nothing to do with this, but all he could think about is fucking Ted's back. Oh, fucking Ted. I thought I put him down.